Hello, you're here with Maddox and Dwight. We're the connections and community guys with for the love of creatives. Wow, that's a drawback. Today our guest is Imani Black. Imani, welcome to the podcast. We're delighted to have you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Well, I'm gonna before we jump in and start really getting into the conversation, I'm going to turn the mic over to you for a minute and let you tell the audience a little bit about yourself because you can do that better than I can do that. Just, a 1 or 2 minute overview of who you are and what you're about.
Yeah, of course. So my name is Imani Black. I'm originally from North Carolina, but I moved out here to go to school at the University of North Texas over 2013. So I've been out here ever since. I've always wanted to move to Dallas. I had big dreams. So like everyone in my high school, they knew that I was moving to Dallas and was going to make something for myself because I told them I was. And just over time, like that has truly transformed into that. So graduated from UNT, majored in advertising, worked in the advertising industry, learned a lot because I started out as a secretary. So I was making coffee, doing inventory, planning events and things like that, a lot of the admin work. And I remember just being so unhappy with my role in that because I'm like, I majored in advertising. I have internships. I lead, like I'm a leader, like I do a lot of big things. So why am I making coffee? It was a very sore subject for me back then. But when I look back, it really helped me because um, being that I was so driven, I decided to create my own projects. So from there, I created a documentary titled Day with Dallas, which is where I followed the life of a couple creatives for over almost a year. And then I had a celebration at Trinity Cider where we just celebrated the release party of everything and the closing of the actual documentary filming and everything. That was fun. That was in 2019. And then, as well, from that point, I had already had an ongoing photography series called the Black Series, where I put out a photography project every year from 2017 onward to 2021 under that title. And from there, like it's just helped me build a portfolio of work. And then now, where I am in my career is where I was doing all that work for myself, free. I literally only had like one photography client per year at that point, and it was a less than $100 gig. To now, to now, I have so many clients, repeat clients as well, and I'm living out my dreams here in Dallas. So it's been amazing. I've been on a billboard in Deep Ellum. I've won an advertising award without having worked in the agency since 2019. And I got the award in 2022. So it was amazing. And just so much has happened. And I'm so proud and thankful for Dallas just embracing me. So I'm here. I love being out here. I'm also, oh, sorry, forgot about how we even met as well, is I'm a curator. So I curate art shows. I started out curating my own art show in 2019, was doing that every year until about 2022. I got the opportunity to curate in Deep Ellum. And from there, that was a community show. So it was more than myself. And the reason why I did that is because the walls were so big at the coffee shop that I was curating at. I was like, um, I'm just a young professional. I don't have the money to fill up these walls with my art because I would need huge prints. So I thought of opening up to the community so that everyone else can have a chance. So I had one piece in the show, but there were 11 artists, including myself in the show. And then that's what kind of led me to getting the banner in Deep Ellum and then just leading to me curating another art show this year called Cyber Dallas, where I had a lot of artists that were amazing. And this is like a futuristic sci-fi view of Dallas from a vision I've had from a previous project. And just had the opportunity to make that happen in downtown Dallas. And yeah, I do a lot of community work and I love Dallas. And I really show that through my creativity and providing opportunities for others.
Beautiful. Wow, you've done
That's
a
amazing.
lot.
Thank you.
So I just want the listeners to know that we met you at Art Boost 2025 here in Dallas. That was just a few weeks ago. And you were one of maybe five women that were on a panel. It was Women in Business, I believe. Something of that nature was the title of it. And you spoke so eloquently and had achieved so much in such a short period of time. It just kind of wowed me. And I thought, what an interesting story. And I think there are people out there that would gain value from hearing this. So I kind of want to go back and I mean, you mentioned a few dates, and we don't normally do this, but I got a little message, an intuitive message just a little few minutes ago that said, really work on the timeline here because I think it's important to your story. So you graduated from high school and came in 2013 to Dallas.
Yes.
Okay. And 4 years of college, which would have put you out in about 16,
2017.
16 or
17.
17,
Yeah.
17. Okay. So let's go from there and go a little slower and break it down because you've really done a lot. And I want to kind of talk about the mindset behind some of it because you said everybody in my high school knew that I was moving to Dallas. I had big plans. So let's start even back there. When did you when did you know what you wanted to do? How old were you when you went, yep, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do it in Dallas and you begin to tell people where did it all start?
I would say it started in about 2010. So my dad is actually in the army and he got stationed. We were stationed in Fayetteville. Well, it's Fort Bragg, but Fayetteville is the military town. And so he got stationed out here in Fort Hood at Killeen. And I grew up in a small town. My high school was very small. It was a class, or it was 300 students total. And then my graduating class by senior year was only 40, actually 38, and two of them were boys. So it was a very small school, very tight knit. And my dad had moved out here in 2010. He was stationed in Fort Hood. And I was like, oh, I'm leaving this. I'm going to a big high school in Texas. I'm determined to be a cheerleader. I'm going to be somebody. Like, I'm going to do all these things. And I ended up not moving. He ended up just moving. But me and my mom, we stayed back home in Fayetteville because eventually they moved back anyways. But yeah, it started from there. And that's when like the big spark came for me to go to school in Texas because, I wanted to go to high school here. It didn't happen. But then it was like, oh, I can go to college here and I have the GI Bill. So I can go to school anywhere for free, basically, as long as it was public. And it was a saving grace overall. Now that I've heard the pricing, I don't even know what college costs still, but just knowing how people have like loans and everything, I'm like, whoa.
They
But
have big loans that take a lifetime to pay off.
yeah, my
Yeah.
mom, she's like 54. She just paid off her student loans, and that's from like what, 90s something. So yeah.
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 It's
Uh,
funny. It's a small world. I grew up in a town that was only 20 miles from Killeen.
really? What's the name of your town?
Temple.
Temple. I passed through Temple to go to Austin, right?
Yep.
Isn't that
Yep.
Of
on the way?
course.
Yep.
And
You sure
there's
do.
the Bucky's right there.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, I know
Yep.
Temple just a little bit. That's
I've been
cool.
gone for a very, very long time, but yes, that's where I grew up. Um, so what was it initially? I know you're very much into photography, but back in 2010 when you started to have these plans, what was it photography then?
It was actually. So I've been doing photography all my life. My cameras, my cameras, my parents, they always bought me like cameras, or I would like get some type of money from like a Christmas birthday gift allowance or something, and I would buy a camera. So I would say photography when I was about 11 years old, I think that's sixth grade. I think it was about middle school. That's when photography really started becoming a big interest of mine. I bought this it's gigantic now, but it was a camera, a Canon and all that. That was the first camera I remember purchasing. Actually, my parents got it for me. Yeah. But yeah, it's always been a thing. And then when I had the opportunity to think bigger, because like I can go to school anywhere, I was like, where should I go? And my parents, We visited Texas so much growing up. So it was like I came out here for almost every summer or winter break, on and off. It depends on the year, but we would come out here a lot because my parents, they met out here. I was actually born here, but we moved when I was like one, before I turned 2 years old. So that's why I called North Carolina home, because I was raised out there. But we would visit here often because we have family here. So, they kind of encouraged me to think about Texas. They were like, Dallas is where it's at. We want to move back to Dallas. My mom, she went to UTA, so and they met out there. My parents met out there, so she's like, "We're going back to Dallas." And there were so many times we said we were moving back to the DFW area or even just Texas in general, and it never happened. So it was kind of embarrassing with like my classmates and stuff because it's like I've been talking about I'm moving to Texas all these years of college, not college, of high school, and I never moved. Was at the same high school for 4 years. So, but when it was time to start looking at colleges and so forth, I actually really wanted to go to the University of Houston. Um, I really liked the program. I really had these dreams of being a photographer, so I was going to go to their they have a photography program. So I was like, oh, I want to go do that down there. And Houston is bigger than Dallas. I was like, I want to go to the biggest city. So that was just my mindset back then. But my parents, they were like, you're not going to Houston, basically. You
They
have no
saved you from the humidity.
they did, but I'm from the East Coast. I'm used to the humidity. But um but they were like, you're not going to Houston. Like, we're paying for your school. We're not letting you go there. So that's a no, but you can look somewhere else. So I looked all over the country. I looked at California. They were like, no. I looked at New York. They were like, no. And then I was like, you know what? Let me look at UNT. They have a really good journalism program. And I thought I wanted to do like journalism. And because I was like, oh, I can do photography still because photographers are in journalism. So it was like I was kind of weaving my mind around that. It's funny though, when I applied for school, I was like, oh, I really want to get in because I'm an out of state student. So let me just say I'm going to go in for biology. So I applied to UNT saying I was going to go into biology. Didn't do that. As soon as we got to freshman orientation, I switched to marketing, and marketing kicked my butt. This is creeping into 2013, 2014 territory. Marketing had kicked my butt when I got to UNT. I failed my class. I failed accounting twice, and then I failed another class. Like, yeah, it just wasn't it for me. But during that time, I learned about advertising. So when I was like finally like, hey, I have to make a change, I learned about advertising when I went to go when I spoke to an academic advisor, and they recommended advertising. I was like, oh, I could do a lot with this. Like, you mean, I mean, I love pop culture. Like, my identity back then was pop culture warrior. And I love like media takeout, TMZ, VH1, like when they used to actually have real substance on those. It wasn't substance, it was junk looking back. But I always joke that MTV raised me. So like I loved watching TV growing up. I knew all the celebrity gossip. Yeah, I was a pop culture girly for sure. And advertising goes hand in hand with that, like I learned. And so once during that time as well, I was like always wanting a camera. I didn't have a camera. I had a little camera, but it was cheap. And then I just mostly started filming and doing photos and videos on my iPhone. So that's what I was using to like produce things. And then we had Instagram at that point as well, and VSCO. So or what do they call it? They call it VSCO. I call it VSCO. But it's like a platform kind of like Instagram too. And so I would just put out like photography and videos and things like that on there during college. So my focus was school, but I still kept up with like the photography and videography aspect of like my interests, because those are my interests. And then in 2016, it was my birthday, my 21st birthday. My mom got me a nice camera. Like gave my brother my old camera, a little cheap camera. And I was like, I really want to start doing YouTube. I really want to do photography. Like I said this since 2015. I've been begging my parents for a long time to get me a camera. So my mom, she got me a camera for my 21st birthday. And from there, I said, oh, I'm about to blow up. Like all I needed was a camera. And from there, I put out my first photography project. It was called the Black Series. I released that right after graduating from UNT. So in June 2017, I released it. but I started in May. So I like went around town photographing my favorite places in Denton. And then I photographed my friends, cool pictures of them. They were my models. And I vowed to do from that point to do it every year as long as I saw it made sense for me. So I didn't ended up doing it for 5 years. But that was my idea. Like, give me a camera and I'm gonna make it, I'm gonna make something. And I sure have.
It sounds like a whirlwind, and there's definitely some. You had the support of your family and a lot of things that helped you along the way. But were there any setbacks or challenges?
Oh yeah. I almost like mm, my parents, they are very into school. Like we had to go, I had no choice but to go to college. So um, when I got there, I wasn't doing the best as far as like school. Like I just, it was about the second semester, I want to say. First semester, I was fine because I didn't really know anyone. So I was definitely in school focused. Well, I'm not gonna lie. I'm I'm a good student, kind of, not really. Some I had to grow into learning how to be a good student because it was my first time at school and on my own and the discipline and being organized and so forth. I used to fall asleep in class. Like I was like, I'm gonna be front and center in class. I need to sit at the front and center. I would sit front and center and fall asleep in class. Like I know it's so silly, but I was, confident, but the vision was there, but it was just wasn't fully there. But I had to figure that out. And my scariest thing for me was my parents making me move back to North Carolina. That was like the scariest thing to me my freshman year when I first moved out here. And so what I did was I ended up just photoshopping my grades. I would be like, my mom, they used to ask me for like proof of my like transcript or whatever, my grades for the semester. And I would literally Photoshop. I'm like, I'm not moving back home. So to me, like that was like it was a struggle, like navigating, like, hey, I'm not going back home. I hate that I have to be devious or what is the word? Deceitful to stay, but it's like I'm not going back.
Oh,
And so that was, and then once I actually felt those accounting classes, that was my sophomore year, had to fail and all that. And so, or I had to go, I failed. And so, with that, it was kind of scary because I was also going to lose my funding for school through the military because my grades weren't up to par and things like that. So I would say that was like one of the first real setbacks I remember that was very impactful, where it was like sink or swim for me
hmm.
because I felt like going back home to North Carolina was like the worst thing. So I'm like, oh no, I've been talking about this all high school. I've been talk all this crap. I didn't stop talking to all these people from high school. I have to make it work. Like I can't go back home. Like I'm not going back home. And yeah, I had to swim, and that's what I did. I ended up changing my major, and that really helped me because after I changed my major, I soared. Like I was advertising was definitely the way for me.
Well, it's good that you were able to turn it around. Like you definitely had a recovery, but what do you carry with you? Like, how does that inform how you move through life now?
I feel like it's encouraged me to stay motivated, and do what I have to do to get to where I want to be. Fortunately, nothing's really where I have to be deceitful, but I feel like changing your photoshopping your grades is not that's not the worst thing in the world. But I would say like just having the mindset of if I really want something, I really have to work towards it. And I was so distracted, like I had a boyfriend at one point and it was just a distraction for me. I was just trying to be a lot of things when I needed to really just be a student and focus on myself. So I've noticed when I'm like when I feel like I'm distracted or I'm doing too many things at once or just something isn't fit or working in my favor or where I really want to go, I now over a year, this is like, that was the first time that kind of situation ever happened to me, but it's happened so many times and I realize that's life. So it's like, so now I have a really good balance and understanding like what is true for me and I have to make these changes. So I'm willing to do anything, not do anything, but I'm willing to like start like cut everything off to start over, just be by myself, figure it out so that I can get to where I want to be and just make those changes.
That's awesome.
So here's the million dollar question. All these years later, do your parents know about the photoshopped grades?
No, I don't remember. I feel like I have brought it up. I think they do. Because my mom, we had a heart to heart one time. I think it was in 2016, 17, maybe. I hadn't graduated yet, but I was like, yeah, by the way, I had to change my major. And here's why I had to change my major because I was failing and all that. So I think I told her later. So yeah, it's not a secret. I have a really good relationship with my parents. And so, yeah, they're like my best friends. So I'm pretty honest with them.
That's awesome. Well, I was just thinking, well, I wonder if they're going to hear this.
Yeah, they're very, I will say they let me be myself. So not that they're free spirited, they're not. They're traditional in a lot of ways, but they let me be me. So they know that I'm a go-getter. And they knew I did not want to come back home and that it felt like a failure for me to come back home. So they know I'm willing to do a lot of things to just make sure I'm good.
It's good to have that kind of support. Even if it is traditional support, it's great to have that kind of support.
And your parents are in North Carolina now?
No, they actually live out here now.
They're here.
They finally made their way back.
Wonderful.
So
Yeah.
they're
Wonderful.
close by. That's nice.
Well, I know that with such a small cohort that you went through in high school, that you had a chance to, I mean, that's an opportunity for people to get much closer than in the large schools that, I grew up around here. So um, stadiums were used for graduation ceremonies and you could opt out because it was just that huge,
Oh,
right?
wow. Wow.
But do you still keep in touch with people that you grew up with because of that?
No, I, in high school, I would say I was honestly in my own world. I was on the internet a lot. I'm not gonna lie. Um, so not saying my friends were on the internet. Eventually they were, but during high school, I just always saw that I went to a school where it's like a lot of people wanted to be in the medical field. I was only in that school because you could take community college classes during high school. That was
Wow.
like the benefit to me. My mom made me kind of, but yeah. That was why I went to that school. So um I just always felt like I was different. Like I had like a few friends, but I was like always like a floater. Like I could blend in and kind of be cool with anyone, but I didn't really have like my core friends until about I would say junior year, senior year. And but I was already like, so I was on the internet. I had a lot of followers on Twitter. I was on Tumblr at some point. No, that was later. That was in college. But yeah, I was just an internet girly. So it was like I saw so much more and I was always the most different. I felt like I'm not like other girls in high school. I was just different. Like I didn't really connect with anyone like that at my school. I had good relationships, but it wasn't like a deep bond. And I always felt like I was better than Fayetteville, which was my hometown. I was like, I can't wait to get out of here, bruh. Like, I'm gonna be a big star. I'm gonna be this and that. Like, y'all look at me as I'm nothing now, which is fine, but I know I'm gonna be somebody one day. And so after high school, or after graduating, I didn't keep in touch with anyone for a long time. And now I keep in touch with about four people out of the five, or out of the what, 38 people. Just about four of them today. And over time, yeah, it's only been a handful. Like if I go home, I literally only hit up one friend and she doesn't even live there anymore. So yeah.
Well, it sounds like you managed to cast spells. Like what you said was going to happen, you made it happen. And there was a combination of luck and determination, but it sounds like you had a real drive to really bring about the things as you saw that they needed to be.
Yeah, definitely. I'm still shocked to this day because Imani Black, Black isn't my government name, but it's a name I made when I was 16 years old. They told us not to put our real names on the internet. And so I was like, I don't want to be these like weird names. Like I want to be my name, or I want to have like I called it a pseudonym. It is a pseudonym, but my name is Imani. But um, I made that name when I was 16, and it was so crazy. 10 years later, I won an award as Imani Black in Dallas, Texas. Like, it was a lot of, oh, it's been a lot. Oh my God. But it made me cry. I was like, wow.
That's really cool. I love that story. So I'm curious, this go-getter that you are, who modeled that to you? I mean, where did that come from?
Just say my family overall. And like my mom, she's amazing. She's a boss. Like, and I saw that growing up. And my dad, he's a go-getter too. Like he was in the army and he also worked on the side. Like I just come or worked on cars on the side, and like they always had something going on. Like there was always like since I've graduated from college, actually even before I graduated from college, there was a time where I had three jobs at one point. And so it's like I come from a family of hard workers. I watched my mom climb the ranks at her where she worked at. Like she went from struggling and then pursuing her, having me, pursuing her education, and my dad just being there along the way, supporting her, and them coming together and like making the best for me and my brother. And so just seeing them really inspired me. And then I would definitely say, even though this person is taboo now, very, but Kanye West, I listened to him a lot growing up. Like ever since I heard Gold Digger, when I was like, was like in third grade. Like I said, my parents let me do what I want. But in third grade, I heard Kanye West Gold Digger. And I remember there was this line, he was like, he got that ambition, baby. Look in his eyes. And I remember I was in the car with my mom. I was in the back seat. I was like, "Mommy, what is ambition?" And she was like, "It means you work hard, you get it done. You're a go-getter." Like basically that was just what she said. I'm sure she broke it down Barney level for me. But I remember I was like, "I got that ambition." That's what I remember saying.
Oh.
But he like listening to him growing up, and like he's a very confident person, and like just seeing, I watched so many of his interviews and so forth. It's just like I've had a lot of time to study him before he became uber weird. But yeah, I've had a lot of time to study him, and like his music has greatly influenced me as well. Like I said, everyone in high school knew I was moving in Texas, but they also knew I loved Kanye West. I thought I was gonna marry him one day.
He was
Yeah.
gonna wait for you to come from third grade up to old enough to marry.
Well, you mentioned early on about how you had the job at the agency where you were making coffee, despite having gone through the process of earning, you'd earned the degree and you'd had the internships and you'd done all the things in order to you'd earned recognition, but it wasn't coming. There's another timeline where you're still making coffee. So, what can you say to someone who might be listening that's in that situation?
Oh, I would definitely say you're more than likely not going to be fulfilled at your day job. But if you can build something for yourself outside of it, have a reason outside of work that gets you motivated. Because during that time when I was making coffee and all of that, I would just go. I was new to Dallas. I would go to work, go home, work out, smoke, drink, and go party. And then the cycle would compete, or it would. I would base that would be my week every week. That was it. And then it was like, I mean, what am I doing? Like, I'm not doing anything. I'm sitting up here on Twitter and drinking and smoking. Like, this is such a waste of time. I should be doing something. And so it wasn't until about the beginning of January 2018, after I graduated in May, got the job in August, was living in Dallas by September. From September to that point, that was my loop. smoke, drink, go to work, work out, go out to eat, just be silly. I was young, I was 21. So, but once I figured out that I wanted to do something, I was like, I need something to do after work. I can't keep doing this and I'm not being fulfilled. Like I'm sitting up here waiting for them to give me an opportunity to be on a production set or to make a documentary or to be a part of these cool projects for this amazing client we have. But it's like, it's not happening. I'm making coffee or I'm getting denied to even get promoted and stuff like that. So I was like, okay, well, I'm just going to make something outside of work. And I studied. I just watched a lot of YouTube videos. I studied them at work. Like I was like, oh, you need to have a meeting or you need to like write these notes down. You need to send follow-up meetings after a meeting. I need to write like I just kind of took it all in. And so what I would say is like, yeah, if you're not fulfilled, you're more than likely not going to be fulfilled at your job. But if you build something outside of your job, you can, there's a way out eventually. It takes time. It's not going to be overnight, but it could be. But if you don't never start, you'll just be in the constant loop. So I would say look for something to do outside of work that fulfills you. And if you want to pursue it for money, do it.
Imani,
Sage
I'm
advice.
one. Oh, go ahead, Dwight.
No, I'm
Oh.
just saying sage advice. People need to hear it. I suspect they know it, but they need to hear it.
They need to hear it. Yes, I agree completely. So I'm wondering if you can look back now at the job where you made coffee and see the perfection of that.
Oh, absolutely. I'm
Because
so thankful.
if they had put you on projects, you might still be working on their projects, but they had you doing coffee, and as a result of that, your life went a different direction where you work on your projects now instead of their projects.
And client projects. I have plenty of clients to now. I started with doing my projects, but now my client projects take more priority and more time of my time. Um, yeah.
I noticed right off when you spoke in the panel that you are very confident and you speak very boldly. You don't hesitate to say what's on your mind. And I'm wondering how you perceive that ability to be that confident human being and be bold. Be bold. How has that? I mean, this is speculation because you don't know what life would have been like if you hadn't been confident or and bold. You can only speculate, but that's what I want you to do is speculate and tell us how you think that opened doors for you that might not otherwise, and what doors did it open?
Oh, all of them, honestly. But um, I feel like I'm just my family we're a loud family. And so you have to speak up or you will get ran over. And after so much time, it's I'm a child, I'm growing up. So it's like, I'm finding my voice, but they always let me be myself. I can definitely say that about my parents. They said I was weird, but they let me be weird. And so over time, it's just I've become grounded in that. I know I'm different. I know I'm eccentric. That's what I say now. I know I'm eccentric, but you know, I've always had friends. I've always had my family. I've always had that, I guess, that confirmation as well that I am good or like I am a solid person. It's okay to be me. It's okay to be confident. It's okay to be loud and proud. And I feel like it's also just something God put in me. Like, I don't know how it would be to be a shy person. I will say there are times that I have been shy, but I think there's waves of it. And it's not even like I'm shy. It's like I'm just being quiet. Like I'm letting y'all do the talking and I'm observing or taking it in, kind of figuring out what's going on before I insert myself because I know if I talk, there, I don't know. I might become the center of attention a lot of the times, is what I've noticed. So it's like I'm okay with being quiet, but I know when to speak up. I know it's okay to be loud and proud. And working at the advertising agency really solidified that for me. I had been loud and proud all throughout college, and I got a lot of things done, which I was so proud of. Like, I went, it was right when I changed my major to advertising. I was at summer school after I literally flunked the semester before. I was at summer school and I had finally switched my major to advertising. And it was the first day of class. We had like an intro to journalism class, and they were telling us about the North Texas Daily, which is our on campus newspaper. And then I looked at their social media because they told us to follow them. And I was like, their social media sucks. Like, I have 1,000 followers on Tumblr. I can make this social media page pop. So I literally, after class that day, I went to the office of the newspaper and I said, "Hey, I would love to run your social media. Like, could we talk about like I don't mind even volunteering to do it. Could we talk about that?" And I had a meeting with the main director who was a faculty, and then I met with the editor who was a student. So we met like a couple of days later, and literally from there things shot off. Literally, I'm not even joking, but just that kind of boldness. It's like after you take bold action after bold action after bold action, it's like you realize like, oh, if I don't try, I'm not going to get it. It's not going to fall in my lap. It's been like a mix of trial and error. There have been times where I've receded, I'm not so bold, or I'm just like, or I don't like this, or I think it's all okay overall, but it's like, I don't want to miss opportunities. And just from time I've learned, even working in the advertising industry, like closed mouths don't get fed. And they like people who are loud. Like I noticed in the workplace, like people who are like loud but on their stuff. Not loud, but they speak. They talk to people. They're not going into office just doing their work and then going home. Like it's no, it's the people who are talking to you, coming to bother you. I didn't do that at my last job, but like I've noticed it's like there's a way to move about life, and it is being bold and it is being confident, even if you don't fully feel it. Like I felt like in high school, I had to fake it until I made it. I was like, I don't know how I feel about myself, but I'm not gonna sit up here and play small. Like I can't. I see big things for myself, and I was listening to a lot of Kanye at that point, and Tyler the Creator, and Rihanna, and Amy Winehouse. So it was like, oh no, these are all like bold figures and just very influential to me. So yeah,
So you
I
you
hope that
had
answered it.
mentors of a sort, people that you modeled after. I think
Yeah.
that we oftentimes, when people see somebody like you, that it kind of looks like it comes really easy to you, they always think the person who says, "Oh, everything she touches turns to gold" type thing. And when you talk to those people, oftentimes they say, "Well, you're only seeing me now when it's all good. You didn't see back there where I tripped and fell 12 times or something." So, the people that think, "Oh, you just got lucky or it just comes easy to you," speak to them and in telling them, that the boldness sometimes it pops in your face. I'm sure. I know it does for me. Sometimes it lands flat, but there's a reason you still keep doing it. Speak to that for a moment, please.
Speak to why I keep going or how the book,
Well, yeah,
what was the
you know
question?
why in spite of the fact that bold doesn't always work, it's I'm personally I think it's more inclined to work than not work. That's me. But what's
Yeah.
your take on it? Because you continue to show up bold because it's open doors to you. But I guess what I'm trying to get across to our audience is it doesn't work 100% of the time. Usually, we all stumble, fall. We all have to get up and dust ourselves off. We've all been told, "No, get out of my face."
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So for me, I'm just knowing my journey. Like in high school, I remember feeling overlooked. Like I can definitely say that. Like that's when I start remembering like all my feelings and so forth, as far as like coming into my identity and things. And I remember feeling overlooked. Like my friends, they were pretty, they were dating guys and hanging out with friends, going to parties. And I wasn't. I would hang out with them, but it was like I wasn't going to parties, or I didn't have a boyfriend. I wasn't getting like stalked or chased around school or anything like they were. Thank God I look back. But, I've realized over time, it's like I've, I craved that attention, but I knew I wanted it in a way that felt good. And so I realize it's like you don't get that just being on the sideline playing like someone's going to see you if you're standing in the corner. When I look at the people who I admired, even if it's just like a random person in class or I was in a summer camp or whatever, like I saw the people who spoke up, who were funny. I was who were funny, who were doing things, taking action, whether they were like, oh, I'm going to lead this volunteer event or things like that. Like they got the attention. So it's like, I realized you don't have to just be pretty. You can do things and it comes naturally because you're interesting. It's important to be interesting and to be bold on top of that is like, oh, you're golden. Like you, there's something there. People like that's why we have the news. That's why we have all the celebrity gossip. I did take in a lot of pop culture too. So that's an influence. It's like I felt like I was a star. I knew I was going to be a star one day. But then I've kind of retreated. It's like I don't want to be like a celebrity like people are following me down the street or anything. I want to be influential in my craft. Like that's what I want to be known for. Um, and that's just a path I've taken. It's kind of been a molding over the years, but being bold has allowed me to see like, hey, this is the type of attention I do want. This is the type of attention I don't want. Or like it's really a trial and error in a sense too, because you don't know unless you try. Like I could have told you that I'm gonna speak on it. Well, I'm not gonna lie. There's so much I'm like, oh, I didn't know it was gonna happen. No, I used to talk to myself in the living room and be like, here's me at an interview and things like that. So I don't know. But it's just like I felt a deep knowing that I'm gonna be somebody one day. Maybe I'm starting small now, maybe I'm considered weird now, but I always knew I was gonna be great. And even where I am right now, it's like I'm still eccentric. I'm still considered weird to some people, but I know I'm still gonna go to my next level and it's bigger than this too.
Oh, well, that's a great foreshadowing because as a little girl, you knew that you were going to get out of Fayetteville. You knew you were going to go to Dallas, and here we are. And even when you were kind of pinned into the corner making coffee, you knew better things are around the corner, and you're making it happen. So I'm curious as to what it is that we have to look forward to in the coming decades.
Wow, decades. That's a
Yes.
great question. um, Foreshadowing a bit, I would say I'm actually working on this now, but I know it's going to turn into bigger things later. So I have a production company where I focus on photography, videography, and event production. And I see that growing into something bigger in the future. So I want like Issa Rae. She popped up along the journey as someone I could look to as an inspiration for what I want. So she has her media company called Hooray. Hooray. I want to own my own media company one day. She's also inspired me in the sense that I know I want to, well, I knew this before her, but I want to own a coffee shop one day. I visited LA about a year ago and I went to her coffee shop like every day while I was there. And oh my God, it was amazing. But I know I want to own a coffee shop one day. So bigger production company, coffee shop. And I also want to own an art gallery. And then don't laugh when you see me, but I'm probably going to be a yoga or Pilates instructor too.
You do you. Do
Yeah.
it.
Right. Good for you. I love it.
Yeah. That's what I really see. And my goal is to actually have like one of my productions be on a Netflix series or be a Netflix series one day. So,
Yeah, I don't poo-poo that being a yoga instructor at all because you didn't mention her as one of your icons, but another local, oh my goodness. Oh, who's the jazz singer? Um, the reason I bring her up is because she's also a doula, which is
oh, wow.
unexpected, and she sings internationally and she helps with bringing about births. Erica Badu.
Oh, yes.
So
You know,
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Imani, one of the things I notice about you, and it's worth calling out because I really want the listeners to get this, that you are absolutely a big dreamer. But big dreams in of themselves are nothing more than just big dreams. What makes those big dreams come true is you take action.
Yes.
And it's the coupling of the big dreams and the bold actions that manifest, your reality. You know, we think sometimes there's a whole subset of our culture that believes, well, this is just the hand that I was dealt. Bullshit.
Right.
We did get dealt a hand, but you like in most card games, you can lay a card down and pick a card up.
Yeah.
You can change your life when you change your mind.
Yes.
So
Yes.
we are starting to get near the ending time. We need to wrap up, but we have one final question for you, and it's the big question. We save this to the end. In your current creative life, like real time, right here now, what is the biggest pain point? And specifically, that challenge that if it were solved would be a game changer for you.
Hmm. That's such a great question. There's so many things that I want, and I feel like some of what I have right now, I've accepted. So it's like I have a full-time job. There was a time where I was doing this full time. I got laid off in 2023, and I got a new job last summer. It's been over a year now. But I was unemployed for 6 months. But during that time, I really learned so much. It was great. I want to go back and do that. But because I have like some shorter term goals, I know that having a job is just the stability and so forth, and just the uncertainty of what's going on in the economy is what's kind of keeping me here. But I know deep down, if I were full time on my own, like I'm a go getter, I'm going to figure out a way to like make more than what I even earn now through my paycheck. So I would say, like, it's just, I'm thankful for my job, but I know I can do more for myself beyond it. But I accept it right now for what it is because I know it's going to lead me to where I need to go, and it's not the worst circumstances. Like I literally work remote, so I'm like, there are worse jobs. So yeah, I would say
Yeah.
that's the main thing right now is just that. But I appreciate it, and it's a I'm realizing, like, I used to think my corporate life was separate from my creative life, but over time I've had to realize like it's okay that they're merged and together, like it's all me regardless. So there's no need to compartmentalize. Of course you can have things private, but like there's no need to compartmentalize like, oh, this is my aspect of this and that. And no, what I do at my creative world is professional, so it is a part of my just overall professional experience.
I say this all the time. It doesn't have to be an either or, it can be an and.
Yeah.
Ah, yes, I love that.
You said, I know this job, even though it's not my ideal, it's not my long term, I know it's will lead me where I need to go. And you have experience of that because it's just like the coffee serving job.
Yes, it
It led
literally
you where
is.
you needed to go. And so what a beautiful place to be in where you can trust the process.
Yeah, that's been a big thing is trusting the process and finally feeling contentment as well. That was an issue for a while. I'm like, I'm not satisfied. I got to go to the next thing. But that's partially why you see all these projects too. But I always put my all into them. So, but feeling contentment right now and the fact that I'm not doing anything like, or I am doing things, but it's like I'm not promoting it or I'm not sharing it. I'm working behind the scenes on things, and it's like I have things going for myself. I just don't have to share it, and I can just work or I can just kind of chill in a sense.
Yeah, I get it. It's
Yeah.
important. It's called balance, isn't it?
Yes, yes. And can
Yes.
I say something as well as far as like another role model?
Please.
Sure.
So Kim Kardashian, I've followed her a lot growing up, like what she did and so forth. Like I saw her rise because I was a kid and watching, inhaling pop culture. So she was in the media all the time. But what I really admired about her, what I knew coming into Dallas, and I picked out the pieces about her that I really like, and it's three things: beauty, brains, and business. Those are what I try to embody. And I feel like I do. And she was like the person I kind of pulled that. Of course, I have a lot of other women that I admire too, but for her to see how she does it it's kind of informed me in certain aspects of like what I do for my business.
Beautiful. Yeah, I think it's incredible, and we normally talk more than we did today about community, but right here in these final moments, you're describing the varying different people, and even though maybe you didn't know them personally, you drew from their lives and what they were like quasi mentors in some way, and in some way that is a form of community.
Oh, 100%. I mean, that's the same way that I learn a lot from books. I have conversations with people who are long dead, and it's because they've modeled things that I see as being important lessons, and I try my best to honor them.
Yeah, books are amazing. There's so much wisdom. I love reading. So, yeah, well, I listen more than anything, but yeah, I love reading books.
Imani, this has been amazing. Thank you so much for coming and spending an hour with us and sharing your story. We've really enjoyed it.
Yes.
Thank you. I've enjoyed being here. Before we go, can I do a screenshot picture of us?
Absolutely.
Sure.
Okay. Oh, is it gonna? Oh, hold on. Does it let me do it? Oh, it did let me do it. Okay, ready? One, two, three. Got us.
Yay.
Cool. Well, thank y'all so much for having me. I really appreciate being here and sharing my story. I know I'm a loud, boisterous person. I hope it wasn't too much.
Oh,
Not
we
at
loved
all.
every moment.
It was just perfect. Now, we don't exactly know when it'll air, but on the day it airs, you'll get an email letting you know that it's gone live, and we'll include the collateral in there so you can share it on all your social media. And yes, anything that you can do to share it would be appreciated. And you said you've been listening to some of the episodes.
Hmm.
If you would rate and review us, that would be amazing.
I will definitely go back and do that. Yes, yes.
Well, thank you so much. Have an awesome rest of your day, and you'll hear from us.
Thank you. Y'all too.
Thank you. Bye bye.